It's Tuesday, August the 30th, 2022. So tomorrow is the last day of August. September arrives very soon. So now I'm able to get back to my work, and I was unhappy about not being able to work, and I'm unhappy about having to work now. I don't care for the heavy work of harvest. I like getting the honey in, and I like getting the value of that, and it's the money part. So you work all year for that, and that's what you have to do. But it just takes a toll. It is very difficult. Even though I have my lifter machine here, I have my bee escapes, I have my accessories here, smoker, etc. So I'm heading off to my out yard in order to set escapes. I'm very, very thankful I have a friend here today who's going to help me with that. So that means that one of us, probably me, will use the lifter to lift the honey supers up off the hive, and he will slide in the escape. It's a little more than that because he'll smoke them down best he can. He'll remove that queen excluder, and he's going to add patty, maybe 2. We'll see how we feel about that. Maybe they'll take 2. So that's what we're doing today, and I'm hoping we get all of these escapes set. I haven't counted them, but I've got probably, I don't know, about 40 of them or so here. Out yard will take 32, and then we'll come back to the home yard and do the rest. Okay, we made it to the out yard, and Paul is here to help me today. Paul, pretend like you're happy to be here. And so harvest 2022 is officially going to be underway here in a minute. I've got my box lifter 6100, or what did I call it last year? A back saver 6100. And so I'm going to lift the box, and Paul's going to set an escape. I'll put a little bit of pressure, and then you crack it. I wonder if my lifter is going to cooperate. Paul's wearing a full suit and a veil and gloves, and I'm not. So maybe I should be hanging on to the... I think we can put these things kind of central, because I'm not going to be feeding them yet.
Sure. Closer to the center the better?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think over the brood is what you want to do, but... And, I mean, eyeball that. What does it look like? Does it look like
I'd say
there's bees.
All
right. Okay. We'll get that back on there. Oh, now I know why it wasn't working. I didn't take my keeper thing off. See how strong this thing is? It'll lift anything, and it'll even break my strap when I don't take it off. All right. We got those escapes set today. So we did the whole out yard, and we did about a dozen here at the home yard. I don't have enough escapes for everybody, so that's it until we pull honey, which might be Friday, Saturday. So then we'll free up some escapes and continue setting escapes here at the home yard. So in the meantime, few little things I need to check on. These are what remains of my mating nukes from my grafting program. The far ones there are laying, so they have mated and laying queens, and these 2 were yet to be determined what they were going to do. So I just want to look in these 2, see what's going on. This one here, this was a little extra. When I cleaned out all of the mating nukes from this area, I ended up with a little cluster of bees hanging out under in this box, and they had made a little lobe of comb in there, and they had eggs in it. So we dumped those bees in this box with drawn comb, and I think I'll check on them too, because that was a week ago. So they should have something accomplished by now, something to see anyway. So we'll just check these out. We'll see what's going on. This is that combine I did maybe a week ago or so. Let's see how this worked out. They're chewing up that patty already, so that's a really good sign. You can't see her, I'm sure, but there's my queen walking around. She's kind of running around a bit, and that kind of worries me. She's not that big, but there's milk brood in that frame. Today is Thursday, September the 1, 2022, and I'm going to commence harvesting honey, hopefully. So we recently, it was on Tuesday, set escapes on a few of these hives here at the home yard. So I'm going to try and pull some of these. If I can pull it down to the escape, then I'll redeploy the escape on another hive, since I didn't have enough to finish this yard. I have to stagger that. The home yard is a little easier to harvest because I don't have to haul the tractor around, and I can just fill my honey skid and take it to the hot room right away. I have had 6 seasons, I guess, that I've used escapes. I don't know that I used them my first year. Yeah, maybe I did. And I have mixed results. And one of the reasons I have mixed results, I think, is the fact that I'm usually pulling my honey very late, and there's not much of a flow. I think there is a little tiny flow right here, right now. Alfalfa and some of those little sunflowers, those little tiny sunflowers you see. There's goldenrod. There was purple loosestrife, but I think that's gone now. So there's a bunch of other little stuff. There's a little bit of trefoil left hanging around. Thistles. There's sow thistles. So anyway, hopefully I have a little bit of a flow, and these supers will have cleared over the last couple of days. If they didn't, I have a secret weapon, which should work today really well. But I'm going to try this just with the escapes to start with, and we'll see what happens. This is the proof in the pudding right here. And I see bees. So, there's not more than a bee or two. And, generally you don't get 100% clearing. Tip this up. I hear a lot of bees, but there's probably no more than 10 bees in that medium. And since it's a medium, and it's not even full, I'm just going to hand bomb it over here onto my honey skid. And then there's this deep. Let's see what's in here. There's a little cluster hanging out there. But I can probably shake those. So different lines of defense here against the remaining bees. I can shake them, as I'm about to do. And they're eating that honey. Or I have fume boards waiting at the side here. So just a few. Bee brush would be handy for this too. As it's kind of hard to shake honey frames. They're so heavy. Okay. Now that's a honey deep. So I'm going to lift that with my machine. There's no issue at all for the machine. It's a little bit heavy to do by hand. That even sit on there properly. Okay, so now I've got an escape I can reallocate. Let's take a closer look while we're here. So I was pointing out earlier that I like to put a shim under these escape boards because there's not much space. So let's open this up and see how many bees are actually congregated in that area. You see under that escape there are a lot. I would say this escape worked really, really well. And another thing I would like to see, I'm going to set this down gently, is how are they making out on this patty. A little bit of consumption from the top and around the edges. Yeah, they're chewing away at it. They're not making any, setting any records, but they're on it. I'd like to put the lid back on this, but if I bump this escape on it, there's not going to be any room. I could set the lid on top of the shim just while I work. Okay. So I think that shim did offer them the space they needed. I don't know that it was absolutely necessary. It's Friday, September the 2nd, 2022. So I'm back at the bee yard that we set escapes on Tuesday. And so I hope the honey boxes have been evacuated of bees, and I'm going to pull a few boxes. I have no delusions of pulling this entire yard because I didn't bring my tractor and I have no help. So this yard is always quite a bit of work. So what I'm planning to do here is I'm planning to lift the boxes with my lifter machine here and just set them directly on the deck of the truck. It's a steel deck. The boxes will slide, you know, better than the wooden deck on my other trailer, and they'll sit flush with the deck, so it shouldn't be able to get any bees in there to rob the honey. That's going to cause me a little bit extra effort at home because then I have to lift them off, put them on my honey pallets, and get them into the honey house. So, but I have to make some headway here. I can't just sit on my hands. And another thing I did here was I'm always a bit concerned about the bees. You take all that honey away from them this time of year. There's not very much forage out there, so I get worried about them running out of feed. So what I did was I brought a tote and a couple of pails of water and a bag of sugar, and I set up a feeder over a little ways over there. So that'll by no means be the bulk of my winter feeding. It's just a little supplement to keep them busy, keep them nourished until I get back here with the pails, which will be a day or two maybe after I'm done pulling the whole yard. I don't usually like to feed pails before I've pulled the whole yard, but if they're under escapes, it should be okay. Even if the pails are a little bit leaky, they can't get the sugar syrup back up into the honey boxes through the escape, They can't go that direction. So this is just a rundown of what I'm going to do here today. I didn't even bring my tripod, and I've got to make some headway here. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to bore you with the laborious details of what's going on here. I can update from time to time, but I need to make some tracks here. Well, that went really well. That went every bit as good as I could have hoped or expected. Oh, is it ever sunny out here? It's cloudy, but the sun comes from between the clouds and blinds me. So if I count correctly, I've put 39 boxes on the trailer. This worked pretty good. I left them up on here with the machine, and then I give them a push to the middle. And if I count correctly, there's 38 boxes left. So I've done, well, half, one more than half, but it's an odd number, so it can't be half. So anyway, I'm going to get this home. I've got some escapes now I can set at home. So I need to get that on. But it's going to take me a little while to get this off the trailer, because you can see it's sitting right on the deck. So that all has to be put on my little honey skids, which is just my 2-way pallet with the entrance blocked off. So that's good, and I'm not completely played out. The determining factor here was, you see I still have room in the trailer, really, because there's not really anything much in the truck, is the amount of covers that I brought. I only brought that many covers. So it is what it is. I'll get this home and off the trailer into the hot room, and then I'm going to set those escapes at home. Hopefully I'm not too played out by then. It's not too bad though.